gorgeous, isn't it? Wow. Nobody could do what I'm doing right now. Hey art people, it's Allison welcoming you to episode 1 of my second live drawing series. Today's good news is that a high school in Virginia is changing its name from Robert E. Lee to commemorate Representative John R. Lewis. Talk about a 180, I love to see it. What I'm going to be starting today, this is part 1, so there is nothing here, it's just a blank sheet of paper. Okay, so like the other piece, I'm going to start by framing a border on the image. Since this is a series, I want the sizing to be similar. You'll remember that I ended up making the title piece Inner Strength a little bit shorter. I cut it about right here. I think I'm going to do the same for this one, so it kind of got dark. Yeah, I think that's my good side. Not that it matters because I'm going to be facing the canvas, but I'm going to try to keep it kind of like more of a square like the other one because I think that that shape really fits what I'm doing. But you know, that may change, so we'll see. But I'm starting right now with just adding in my border. Okay, so before I get started on the actual drawing, I want to talk about this piece, which again is going to be called Resilience, and kind of what the goal of this piece is, what the subject matter is. So my last piece, Inner Strength, was about, you know, what it feels like to deal with racism and hearing things that are about like the color of your skin and the way that you look. This piece deals with an issue that I have not personally experienced, but one that some of my closest friends have had to deal with, and that is dealing with the healthcare system when you have an illness that is not visible. And so I wanted to kind of celebrate the strength that goes with having to deal with that and still going out and doing all the things that you need to do and pushing to get the answers that you need. So I think that that's super incredible, not really talked about that much, and I am hearing more people talk about it. I'm hearing more people bring attention to that problem, and I feel very inspired by the people in my life I know that are doing more for themselves and more to talk, like bring light to that conversation, and I felt really inspired by those people, and that has fueled my decision to celebrate them in this piece. So I'm going to start with it's a little more difficult because the reference for this one won't be myself. It's not just because I used myself in the last image, but because this isn't an issue I deal with, so I didn't feel like it would be fair to use myself as like the face of it. So I'm going through my phone, finding the reference pictures. Don't mind me. Okay, got it. So as I do that, I have to decide where abouts the face should go, and it is also, after some brainstorming, I've decided that I want it to be a little different. I don't want each piece to look the same, so I still want to incorporate the style of the words, how they were in there and how they become part of the background. I feel like I look weird. I don't know, but I don't want it to look exactly the same. So just keep in mind it's gonna look a little different. It's okay. It's art. There are no rules. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. And I'm telling myself that. I feel like you guys already know. I'm telling myself so that I don't freak out when it looks different. So I'm just positioning the face right now. And this is definitely a little easier since I've learned kind of from last time, and I am working on like a shorter canvas here. Because again, I don't want to get caught up worrying about like the clothing. it's harder when you're not using yourself to find exactly the pose that you're looking for. Because when I'm using myself, I can just use it like, oh, I want the person to be like this, so I can pause like that. When I'm using someone else, I kind of have to like Google a bunch, and especially if I'm using a specific person, I kind of just have to either ask them for a picture or creep their social media, which is easier. So that's going to be the obstacle that I am working with today, is finding exactly, I'm kind of going to have to use a little bit of, like, I won't be able to rely solely on the reference photo. I'm going to have to take some creative liberties and just assume. Gorgeous, isn't it? Wow. Nobody could do what I'm doing right now. And this is what's so funny about starting a new piece, is just like how underwhelming it is at the beginning. It's like, oh, so this is what it takes to draw? I can do that. So straight on is a pose that I like never really did much until recently, but I'm starting to like really like it, like the strength of just looking at someone right in their face. This should be interesting because the person I'm using as a reference has straighter hair, and I have been drawing like almost exclusively curly hair for so long now. The nice thing about them having straight hair and shorter hair is that I won't be stippling for 2 days like in the last one. Okay, so now I have like the placement of the face and all that, and I'm gonna go in and kind of, since that didn't take that long, I'm going to try and define like the features and have like some good framework so that I can go in maybe in the next video and just start adding ink. Okay, and to do that I'm going to use my H pencil because it's a little softer than the mechanical pencil and it won't dig into the page as much, and if I do need to make changes it'll be much easier to blur out or erase. I don't think I'm alone in that drawing the eyes is my favorite part. Everyone says they're like the window to the soul, which I think sounds like really cheesy and like kind of lame, but it is the most piercing part of, ugh, that sounds just as cheesy, but it's true, they're the most fun feature to draw. I mean, although weirdly, I've been really enjoying drawing noses too. I feel like noses are so underappreciated. They never stop growing. They're super weird. You can always see them. We use them to breathe. But if you focus on them too much, they look like so, just like goofy. So drawing a nose well, I think is really hard to do because it's totally not intuitive. Everything we do is ignoring the nose. Like we always see it and we don't pay attention to it. But when you're drawing a nose, you have to focus only on the nose, which, I mean, let's be real, how often do you ever do it? Oh, this person's so cute. Going back to like having an invisible illness, it's annoying that that people are so skeptical about those problems, because so much of what we are is like in our minds. So much of what we do is like just, you know, it's just our body acting out what our brain is telling it to. So even like a physical ailment is an extension of like a mental one to some extent. So I really just feel like I'm having a hard time shading and talking because this not something that I've talked about out loud very much, but it just is so crazy to me that you can go and say like something is wrong, I hurt, and people are just skeptical because like to them you look fine. Ooh, that also kind of makes me think of a YouTuber that I just recently started following. Her name is Molly Burke, and she is blind, and people always tell her like she doesn't look blind, and she's like, well, what does that look like? You know, like it's like, I think we really need to divorce ourselves from the idea that being unwell has like a specific look to it. Like, we live in such a busy and chaotic world that most people don't have the option of like just sitting back and letting themselves feel bad. Like, you have to, it's so dark right here. We have to like get through it no matter what. Like, no matter how bad we're feeling, not going to work is not an option for most people. Not being social is not an option for most people, and not being social isn't really good for you. Even the most introverted of introverts needs human interaction. So to look at someone who's like doing all those things that they have to do and be like, well, you're doing all these things, like, it doesn't seem like you're sick, it doesn't seem like you're in pain, blah blah blah. Like, no, I am in pain, I just like don't have the option of sitting around and feeling bad about it. And also, like, most people don't want to do that. That's not fun. So, really long tangent. I mean, you can't see what I'm doing because my gigantic hair is in the way, but I'm kind of just shifting everything more towards the middle where things go. Alright, let me step back again. That looks a lot better now. I just need to move the pupils. So much better. I am learning from the past mistakes. Getting better at this. Okay, so now I'm going to make these lines easier to see so that when I go in with pen, I know what lines are what. Okay, so I've made like a lot of progress on the first day. I actually feel like the last series, Drawing Inner Strength, gave me like a lot. I kind of learned a lot from that and got through this a lot faster, and kind of got a better idea of getting better at like drawing on camera while talking to you guys. So I feel really good about where this is right now. I think she looks really cute. I'm excited about it. So in the next video, I'm gonna add some ink and add some of the details in the face, and then might even be able to get started on the hair, but that might be too optimistic. I'm not going to set any expectations for myself yet. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear what you think about the subject matter for this one, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I hope you have great week, great day, whatever, and I'll see you next time.